We're on here with my good friend now, Curtis Eaton.
Have decided that I'm tired of chasing roofs all over the U.S., tired of running on deployments, and so I needed to make a change.
And how come you chose to join our program specifically over any other program?
But just having access to you and to your team has just been fantastic.
What would you say, what was one of the problems you had prior to actually joining our program?
Really understanding the process, right? And also having confidence.
I don't say that there's no such thing as stupid questions. Just don't be afraid to ask the stupid questions is what's most important.
To me, it was also cost effective, I thought, very inexpensive. The network was incredible.
Yeah, without any kind of process, it's sort of like, you're just sort of like, flying off you're just sort of like just flying and you have no direction.
I can really appreciate having systems and formats specific to your state, the lingo that is needed as well.
What would you say with now this newfound confidence and with this new process, access to me, what's been the outcome?
The outcome is closing claims, right? Money in the bank, right? That's what we all want, right?
Hey, what's up? My name is Vince Perry, and I am the owner and CEO of Commercial Claims Advocate. So you're about to see an interview with my good friend Curtis. Curtis, he took our course, and he became a part of our Facebook group and became a part of our advocates about a year ago. And I want you to see how he was able to really take his knowledge and his processes, his procedures, and his confidence to a whole other level where now he's got so many claims and he's got the processes where he's being able to settle his claims much faster and for much more money than he ever did before. And it's because of our process that we've helped him implement into his business that he's been able to do this. So stay tuned, take a look at it. I hope you enjoy, and stay tuned till after the video where I'm going to tell you exactly how you too can become part of this Advocates United group and take your game to the next level. Listen up, advocates. Whether you're a public adjuster, contractor, or an attorney, if you have a client that has suffered any kind of catastrophic loss, whether that be by fire or storm or just any catastrophic loss that requires your client to have to move out and incur ALE and loss of use coverage, you need to think about looking at Black Diamond Services. This is an incredible idea for a service that I think is extremely valuable, and I've actually personally used for my clients myself. Basically, what they do is they provide all of the necessary money that is needed to be done for the homeowner to go and move to another place, whether that be a hotel or another home or whatever it is. They basically bill through their insurance policy's loss of use coverage, and basically they provide financial assistance so that the insured never has to incur any out-of-pocket expenses. It's an amazing service. I love the people at Black Diamond Services, especially Millie Varela. If you just contact her and contact Black Diamond Services, I'm telling you, they're going to take care of your clients like you wouldn't believe. I personally have a client who suffered a fire damage and had to use their ALE coverage, and all we did was refer them to Black Diamond. Our clients did not have to come out of pocket a single penny. Black Diamond provided all of the financial money, and they provided the actual location for the homeowner to stay. Amazing service. Contact Black Diamond Services today so you could find out more information for yourself. Well, Curtis, thank you so much for coming on. We're on here with my good friend now, Curtis Eaton. Curtis is the owner of Premier Public Adjusting. Did I say that right?
You got it.
Curtis is located in North Carolina, and Curtis and I have now become friends, I'd say, over the past year or so. He has been a public adjuster for a couple of years, but also worked as an independent adjuster, field adjuster before that. So Curtis knows a little bit about the insurance claims business, that's for sure. Curtis, if you don't mind, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my background is construction, like Vince just mentioned, and I started in construction as a young kid, come from a big family, was injured in my early 20s, so I needed to make some type of a shift, and so I started my own construction company, just a small company, and ironically kind of bumped into some insurance people when I was living down in the New Orleans area. And they said, I think you'd make a good adjuster. So that led me back in 2012 to become an IA. Knew nothing about the public adjusting side, and sort of put boots on the ground and started knocking out some claims, and have decided that I'm tired of chasing roofs all over the US, tired of running on deployments. And so I needed to make a change. And so I met a public adjuster here in North Carolina, and he says, dude, you should become a public adjuster. I said, you can't do that. That's a conflict of interest, right? He said, nope, it's not. As long as you don't work the claim on both sides, you're okay. So that got me to thinking maybe I need to make a change. And so I did not know where to start. And so I began investigating what I needed to do, and thus began the process.
And what would you say, what was one of the problems you had prior to actually joining our program?
Really understanding the process, right? And also having confidence that, yes, I know some insurance lingo, but I don't know the format in which to fight the carrier on, essentially, right? So you're fighting as an advocate for the homeowner and or the insured. And so really not knowing what I needed in place to be structured properly so that I could properly represent the insured on their claims.
Yeah, without any kind of process, it's sort of like you're just sort of like flying off the just you're just sort of like just flying and you have no direction, you're not really sure, you're just sort of following up. I know a lot of contractors that they follow up with the insurance company every single day. And I'm like, that's not what you want to do. And then you have other adjusters that they forget to follow up and you don't follow up for a long time. If you don't have any kind of system in place and some templates and some letters and just ready to like send stuff, as soon as things happen, or at least on a weekly or biweekly basis, the claim just starts to sort of get away from you.
Right. I appreciate you mentioning that the process and having systems in place. As an IA, as an independent adjuster, develop some macros within Xactimate, and we're using those. And so I can really appreciate having systems and formats specific to your state, the lingo that is needed as well, right? As an IA, it's more vague and it's more policy related. This is also policy related, but it's also state specific, which is it's imperative.
So before we get into it, what would you say is actually like the results that you've had since taking the course? Do you have any? Like, do you have anything at all? Would you say, was there any kind of positive results?
Confidence, understanding, sort of from point A to point B. You have to get to point B, but you have to go through point A. You have to understand the process. Understanding process is crucial in this business, because coming from a construction background and or an IA background, the process is completely different because you're looking at it from a different side, right? A different vantage point. So that was huge, kind of understanding I don't need to be afraid, because if I follow this process, it'll work itself out.
I love it. That's what we're going to call this, by the way. Confidence and the importance of process. And how come you chose to join our program specifically over any other program? I know we don't have a lot of competition out there, but there are some other stuff out there. How come you decide to join ours?
So I absolutely loved your authenticity and found you on YouTube and began investigating different PAs, and there are some other courses out there that are available. To me, it was also cost effective, I thought, very inexpensive. The network was incredible. Having a group of folks that are new, that don't need to be afraid to ask any kind of question on your Facebook page, and just being very open to outreach as well. I love that. Seemed very, very much my type, if you will. I am more laid back when it comes to the insurance claims process, and I know some public adjusters present a more hard-faced or hard-nosed approach, and so just seeing that from you, it really drew me in, I guess.
It's the law of attraction, right? Like, I'm a very authentic guy. I'm a very sort of laid back, relaxed guy. Like, I try not to judge anyone. And I feel like that's sort of the people that we've attracted into the program, into the group, into the Facebook group, where I tell people all the time, like, don't be afraid to ask a stupid question. I don't say that there's no such thing as stupid questions. Just don't be afraid to ask the stupid questions is what's most important. And everybody in the group is really nice and always willing to help. And I love it. It's just a different kind of group that we've got where it's more like, hey, just don't worry. Just be yourself. We're going to help you out. We're not going to judge you or anything. Just go ahead and ask away.
Totally. Very authentic, and very easy to, whether you want to go in like hardcore or maybe you're doing something else and this is like a side hustle for you. I think it's great. It's a great way to learn and also partner with other folks too. I think it's brilliant.
All right. So I know you mentioned the processes. I know you mentioned the systems. I know you mentioned confidence and stuff like that. So my next question was there anything in particular about our program that really helped you? And I know you sort of answered that already, but why was it so effective? Why do you think, and how has it been effective?
I think one of the best ways to answer that is the systems that you have in place, right? So it was also easy to understand coming from the insurance side already. I already had some of the lingo, and the construction side I think has helped, but just having access to you and to your team has just been fantastic. Anything that comes up, there's no like, oh, well, we're too busy to hear from you or anything like that. It's very open and very, very responsive, right? So if you were part of a massive network, you might not have that close family type of bond within a particular circle.
What would you say with now this newfound confidence and with this new process, access to me? What's been the outcome?
The outcome is closing claims, right? Money in the bank, right? That's what we all want, right? It's the cha-ching factor as well. I mean, we have to take care of our families. We wouldn't be doing this otherwise. I mean, yes, we love the insurance and we want to be an advocate for them, but at the end of the day, we're in this for business purposes and also hopefully representing well.
Right,
So
right.
yeah,
And I'm going to get deep a little bit.
let's do
How
it.
would you say your life has changed since actually achieving this outcome, since closing this claim, since having this newfound confidence? How would you say your life has changed?
So number one, having more confidence, right? I've been on the IA side. Now I'm joining the PA side. Now I have confidence to proceed and also then build out a structure for my team to where I can be successful in the future. And I can also maybe take a lesser role within the business, but also help train some other folks and really collaborate with others. There's created this really intricate team feel, right? I would say that's how my life has changed, is also developing more relationships. Life is about relationships at the end of the day.
It truly is. I mean, it's really the old saying. It's not what you know, it's who you know. I mean, it's so important. And another one that I've been, Dan, what's his name? Dan Sullivan, I think his name is, has a book called Who Not How, and talks about don't not necessarily how to do something, but who is the right person to help you do it. You know. So where do you think you would be right now if you didn't take, if you didn't join our program, if you didn't take action and join our program? Where would you think you'd be right now?
I laugh at that question because I know where I would be. I'd be lost. I mean, I would have figured it out one way or the other, but I would probably still be floundering. And there is a learning curve. Anything that you do, don't expect to come out of the gate just knocking down doors and closing everything that comes along. You will have highs and lows, ebbs and flows in any business. Anticipate that, but surround yourself with really good people so that if you are having a down day, you could call someone and be like, yeah, this adjuster or whomever just beat me down, but now I have community. Community is imperative to this business because you are sort of a lone wolf, right? You're out there fighting your way through a lot of gray matter.
And the claims are so different. Every single claim is so different. Every situation that presents itself in the life of a claim is so different. You need to have a group of people or some people or a person that you could sort of go to and lean on when you have that question right on the spot and you need it answered immediately or at least within the next 24 hours so that you know which next step to take. And it's just important to have that to lean on, because if not, I mean, again, you'll just be lost and you've got nobody to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Absolutely agree.
Last question. If there is anyone watching that's on the fence about, booking a call or about taking this program or about becoming a part of our team, what would you say to them?
If you are already in business, why wait? Right? Because if you understand business, you understand the need to invest. Invest in yourself first. If you invest in yourself, this will actually help you invest for the future. I think it's a no-brainer, right? Just for the community's sake, not even for the information that's available with the handbook, but with just the community itself will help guide you through, especially if you're new or if you have a couple years of experience. Why not jump in and build out your community so that you can expand your horizons?
I think it's
I think
funny.
it's a no-brainer.
The value I think that people don't really, that they underestimate in consulting and education, in courses, in bettering themselves. I think a lot of people underestimate the intrinsic value that comes with it. I think everybody's always looking at this hard number. It's $100, it's $500, it's $1,000, it's $10,000. Am I going to get 10,000? Well, if just 5 minutes of watching some video, let's say you pay $10,000 and you only get to watch this video for say 5 minutes, but for some reason, somehow you get this idea to do something in your business that's going to triple or quadruple your business in the long run. Now that $10,000 could have actually been worth $500,000 or $1 million. You just never know. We're sort of, by you just interact, and I've learned this because I have spent tens of thousands of dollars on coaching. I admit it. But what happens is you get all these different ideas just by going to other people who've already experienced it before, and you start to get different ideas, which end up being some big monster ideas, like you and I have gone back together about real estate. You're a real estate guy, now you have given me ideas for that. It's just different when you start communicating with people and you build a community. It's amazing the direction that your business and your life can go.
Totally. Yeah. And investing in yourself is key, right? I see people floundering in business so often. They're using old school thinking or thinking that maybe used to work, but now times are changing, right? We're doing a lot of virtual stuff, right? That wasn't, 10 years ago, that was just a novelty idea essentially. And now that's become the new norm. And so just like in business, you have to move with the ebbs and flows within business itself. So yes, I think to align yourself with others and to be able to grow from them as well is crucial to success.
100%. Curtis, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate the time for sharing this for any people who are on the fence or potential people who want to become part of the program. Thank you so much for taking the time, and we'll talk soon.
My pleasure.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
So I hope you enjoyed that interview with my good friend Curtis. If you are interested too of becoming part of Advocates United and becoming part of our group and taking one of our courses, I want you to click on the link below, and I want you to schedule a call with either myself or one of our associates, and we can really explain to you in detail everything that comes with being a part of our group. I'm telling you, investing in your knowledge is really priceless. You need to be able to do it if you really want to take it to the next level, because you could only do so much yourself, and you want to try to avoid a lot of the mistakes that you're probably going to make, a lot of the mistakes that I made, and you will avoid those things by joining one of our groups. So click the link below, schedule a call with either myself or one of our associates, and I will explain exactly how we can take your game to the next level. So speak to you soon.